It's time to break down some football.
We got to get our mind right. Touchdown, win.
From the perspective of guys who played in the NFL.
Caught, touchdown!
And a guy who had one really great sack in high school.
Oh, you're so weak. You're a waste of my time.
Greg Camarillo and Marcus McNeil are the pros. And Skraby is the Joe.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Two Pros and a Joe starts right now.
A little bit of a different feel coming into the episode tonight. Two Pros and a Joe. We're doing it on a Monday night this week because we couldn't do it at our usual time. But the 49ers have just destroyed the Los Angeles Rams. And it's so
we got happy Skraby.
good. I'm wearing my 49ers shirt.
Wait.
And it's amazing. 31-10 was the win. It doesn't really help anything, but it does prove that the 49ers own the Rams. They have won their last 5 straight against them in 2.5 years so far. So that'll be the last time I talk about the 49ers tonight until we get to Odell Beckham Jr. with the Rams. This is episode number 41, and we're going to talk about everything that happened in week 10. We're going to talk about the Chiefs routing the Raiders. Tom Brady, is he done? Is he done? Odell Beckham Jr. with the Rams, and Cam Newton, the angel sent from heaven above. Greg Camarillo, 8 years in the NFL. Are they
We just can't a team based on 1 week. Because if we went back to last week, that means then the Jaguars were better than the Bills and the Cowboys sucked ass. Like you can't jump to conclusions. As fun as it is, it's good to see them progressing back to what they were. And they're still first in the AFC West. And I would like to credit Two Pros and a Joe for predicting that like a month or two ago.
Hey, you know we got the sauce over here, man. We like mind readers when it comes to this NFL shit. We know what's happening. You know what I mean? But I will say not yet, Scrape, but this week is going to be a great test for them.
Oh, yeah.
They go against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
To me, this is an AFC versus NFC, kind of has like a little bit of a Super Bowl chance feel to it. So, like, if you want to gauge the litmus test, this is a great game for the Cowboys and absolutely a great game for the Chiefs to see, like, which direction your season's going.
Someone who is not playing well is Tom Brady in the Buccaneers. Tom threw 2 interceptions on Sunday to the football team second game. Now for the first game, and Tom Brady threw 4 picks in the last 2 games. So I don't think that Tom is. I don't think he's done. I know I said that earlier, but I don't think he's done. It is a little strange that there's a lull right now.
Yeah, and Bruce Arians called him out. He came out there and said the stupidity has to go away. Question their energy at practice. Question their execution. And I love that shit. I love it when a coach is not afraid to call people out, because if you're a true player, if you're a true veteran, you're cool with that. You know when you're giving enough, you know when you're not giving enough, and that wasn't good enough. Bruce Arians is calling his guys out, and I respect that.
Hey, it's almost a trap when you're winning too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it becomes so easy that you start like just feeling like everything is going so well that it can get you off your square a little bit, especially when you come out and drop a game, you know what I'm saying? Then you drop 2 all of a sudden because you felt like, oh, this shit's too simple. It's too easy. You know what I mean? Like, you just feel like you can go out there and do whatever you want to do. And then when it's not working, it's like, oh, shit, like, what do I do? You know, same thing with Patrick Mahomes. Like, everything's good when we got a winning season and we're in the Super Bowl, and I'm sidearming that bitch. But now, when I'm throwing a couple of interceptions, you know what I'm saying, people are looking like.
I mean, they put out a
arm strength there. Like,
They put out a change.org to get Patrick Mahomes to not be the starter in Kansas City, which is kind of crazy. But I'm going to tell you that's good, Marcus, that you brought up Patrick Mahomes, because he was, it's an ebb and flow of the season. He's never looked like this, but now he's back on his way up. And I'm going to tell you why Tom Brady, there's nothing wrong with him, because remember last year from weeks 9 through 12, the Bucs lost 3 of 4 games, and everybody thought it was spiraling out of control. They went into the bye week, and then they won their last 4 regular season games, and then their 4 straight games to the Super Bowl. So they won 8. And in those 3 losses, Tom threw 7 interceptions. It's the exact same situation. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. I think this is what this tells us.
I think it's different. So last year was a COVID offseason, no practices. They were still figuring their team out. And I think Antonio Brown even came in the mix during the season.
He did.
So they weren't a team yet. They were just a lot of talented individuals figuring it out. And then they figured it out. But at this point, they've had an offseason. They've had a season and a half together. They're not figuring it out. But I think Marcus nailed it. I think it's just at some point you lose that motivation week in and week out. The only concern I have for the Bucs, the Washington football team was up by 4 with 10 and a half minutes left.
Didn't give
the ball back. They took the entire 10 and a half minutes to go win the game. And that's demoralizing. They just kicked their ass, flat out kicked their ass.
Isn't that what we ask every team to do with Tom Brady, though? Like, please, whatever you do,
don't give him the ball back.
Do
not give him the ball back. And you're watching that clock tick like, oh, shit, a minute? Okay, he's still got time. 45 seconds, still got time.
3 seconds in a timeout. He's got the eternity. But he also did lose the game for the Bucs when they played the Saints on the final drive. So
that was
true for the first time ever.
Ever though.
He wasn't going to do it twice.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a fun story. So in Miami, when Chad Pennington was our quarterback and we got the ball in a situation where if we just run out the clock and get first downs to win the game, he would pay us. He would give us $100 crisp $100 bill for every first down that we got to go win the game. And it's amazing that a group of people making $400,000 to $10 million are motivated by a $100 bill. But going in that meeting the next day and having your QB give you a Chris Hundy,
Chris Honda.
That is a great story. What would you think? Like, what is a good week? What would be a good week if you got that?
I mean, so say you got the ball with 4 minutes left and you needed to hold on to it to win the game.
And you needed 4 first downs, you get $400.
Yeah. And he'd come with crisp $100 bills, right?
And he gave it to how many people?
Everyone that was, I guess, in the huddle. I guess the starters.
I was going to say that kind of gets expensive.
Everyone that participated in that drive. Yeah, but if you think about a quarterback, how much more it is worth to his career to get those victories.
Oh yeah,
it's worth shelling out $4,000 or whatever it is.
Investment. I never thought about that.
Great investment, and I love that Chris Hundy.
You put a whole nother year on his career, not even of a starter, definitely a backup, and those guys are still making millions of bucks.
Wow. Never thought about it that way. Marcus, did Philip give you like $100 bills or?
No, man. Philip was a good gift giver though. He was a good.
What'd you get?
Yeah, I remember you got a shotgun.
Shit, he got a shotgun with my name on it. He gave us the MacBook Air. Remember the Air?
Oh, that's sweet.
First came the skinnies. He gave us a couple of those. You know what I'm saying? And then one time he got us some Ferris wheel rides over at Del Mar. That was pretty weak, but
I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, me neither.
That was a rough year. That was not a major play.
That was a bad one. That was a bad one. I'm sorry, Philip.
You got sacked too many times.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. He was actually on the Manning cast tonight. I didn't really get a chance to listen to him, but I'm looking forward to hearing about what he had to say on the Manning cast because everybody wants to know if he's coming back to play. And I haven't gotten any alerts yet, so I don't think a team has signed him. I don't think they've signed him yet. So Tom Brady and the Bucs, we don't really think this is going to matter. They're going to be fine. Everything's going to go back to normal. And one person that did get signed by a team is Odell Beckham Jr. When we last did the podcast, Odell was a free agent. None of us, I don't think, said the Rams was a destination for him.
Nope.
And that's where he went. Odell Beckham Jr. went to the Rams. So the Rams themselves have lost back-to-back games to last week on Sunday Night Football, this week on Monday Night Football, and they look really bad doing it. And the last 2 games, you know how we talked about Sam Darnold? Maybe it wasn't the Jets, it was Sam Darnold. Is the real Matthew Stafford? Is he a Lion or was it the Lions? Or is it Matthew Stafford?
Don't wish that upon someone.
Yeah.
To label someone a lion, that's like a shot to their soul.
A lion for life.
I think they'll be fine. I mean, they you take bumps in the road. Just like I feel like the Bucs are going to be fine. I feel like the Rams are going to be fine. But can I talk about the timing of them signing OBJ? And they're like, oh shit, they got Cooper Kupp, OBJ, and Robert Woods.
Yeah.
And like within hours, Robert Woods tears his ACL. That sucked, but it's so great to have OBJ just ready for action. It's going to take him a couple of weeks though to learn the plays, learn how to work in that offense, because that's not a wide receiver go man on man versus your DB type of offense. These are routes that run off of each other, crossing the field routes. It'll take them a while to start getting used to that and get on the same page as the Lion for life, Matt Stafford.
Yeah, Sean McVay has he definitely has his work cut out for him, because he's built this team with all these superstars. Now you have to coach them. You know? It's kind of like Phil Jackson coaching Mike and Scotty and everybody else. It's like, yeah, we got all these great superstars and we can bring them together on the team, but I have to get my superstars playing together. So one, you can't have an OBJ, you know what I'm saying, who's going to go off on his own. He has to buy into the system, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to get Von Miller healthy with his ankle injury, so him and Aaron Donald can play off each other, you know, and then in turn, if those two are playing off good of each other, then now Ramsey's looking good in the secondary because we have pressure and bad passes going up, and we know he's the ball hawk and the interception machine. So he has to find a way to work the team together. He has a lot of superstars, so I think everybody's looking like Super Bowl or bust. But I think because he accrued all the superstars late, it might be a little tougher.
It is 100% Super Bowl or bust.
It's this year too.
Yeah. There's no hiding that. Unless the GM tried to kind of sweet talk his way around that. It is 100% Super Bowl or bust.
Is it really Super Bowl or bust? Because like, look at when they got the players. Like, if I get Von Miller and OBJ at the beginning of the year, you know what I'm saying, and maybe like a little bit of workout together, it's one thing. But like, you're dropping them in the middle of the season.
I think Odell was signed, so they didn't give up anything for him. But with Von Miller, they gave up a ton of draft picks for him.
Yeah, and both those dudes are free agents at the end of this year. And I don't know their cap space, but they can't have that much room left after everybody they've paid.
Matt Stafford makes a lot of money. But I see what you're saying, Marcus. I do. I see where you're coming from. I just.
So if they go to the NFC Championship game and lose, you wouldn't consider that a failure for this team?
Not when you get them. Not when you give them Von Miller in the middle of the season, and OBJ in the middle of the season. Now, if I have this squad coming off of an off season, and then we're bringing everybody in, and now they know the playbook, like we know playbooks, Greg, right? Like, it's not just some shit you can just come in and be like, oh, I got this shit day one. You know,
I got a story about that.
Like, so now you have to come in, get acclimated to the team. You have to learn your playbook to become even a big part of the team to where they can go to you. Like, we saw him tonight, like, yeah, they threw him a couple of balls, but he wasn't really a part of the offense. He wasn't a big part of offense. So
my first game in Minnesota, I had been there for 2 weeks. We play Thursday night. It's an opener in New Orleans. That was the previous year's NFC Championship matchup. So, Superdome was going nuts. Late in the game, we're driving. I get a nice catch on a corner route to get us a first down. I remember it because I was brand new to the team. Adrian Peterson comes and hits me on the head. I was like, oh shit, that's Adrian Peterson. All day, well, doing something all right. And then at that point, the coach was like, well, shit, we could trust him, leave him in there. And so I go to run a dig route, right? And I've always run it's 16 yards, rounded off to 20 in the middle of the field. You're supposed to go from outside the numbers to catch the ball just inside the numbers. And I have run it differently than other receivers my entire career just because of the way I break down. The quarterbacks that I work with know that. Favre throws me the rock.
Oh, no.
I dive for the rock. I come up just shy. They had to review it. It hit the ground. Like, I didn't catch it. But he comes to me, he's like, I expected you to round that in there a little bit more. And that was exactly what Marcus was saying. 2 weeks into being with a quarterback, we were not on the same page. I didn't know what he was expecting. If I had been there longer, I rounded in there, we catch the ball, had a chance to win the game. But when you're new, you don't know those things.
Man, that would be a very nerve-wracking conversation with Brett Favre when he's coming to find you on the sidelines for not rounding it off.
Round that bitch off, Greg.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just like what Marcus just said.
What do you say back? Yes, sir. Yes, you got it. Yes.
Next time I will. Yes.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Your
Barnes.
hair is so gray, and you are so old. But yes, sir. I love
Hey, Brad,
that.
just
I
stop
love
sending dick pics. All right, let's move on.
that. Yeah. Was that
Same
before
year.
or after?
It was after that.
Did
Same
this is
year,
a
though.
random question? Did Brett Favre play for the Jets? He did,
He
right?
did, and that's where he met the lady that he sent
Yes.
his dick
Okay.
pics to.
All right. I wasn't trying to bring
That's
that
a
up or
whole
anything.
another
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah. All right. So Odell Beckham Jr. with the Rams, and they're gonna figure it out. So we think, and Matt Stafford is an elite quarterback, or not elite, but he's at least a playoff quarterback. All
He's
right.
really good. OBJ is really good. They'll figure it out.
Cam Newton is the angel sent from heaven above for Carolina Panthers fans, because not only is he scoring touchdowns
Shit.
and he's becoming the Panthers starter again, he's already taking first team reps with the team.
Yeah.
He's raising ticket prices. We'll get to that at the end, but first let's talk about the football of Cam Newton. And Panthers used him perfectly early. It was 2nd and goal, first quarter. He ran it in from the 2. And we're going to actually talk about the reaction from Cam Newton in the next episode, number 42, because I have the audio and everything. We'll get into that. So episode 42 for that. But what did you guys think? Marcus, I know you're a big Cam guy. Auburn all the way. What was it? I mean, Cam Newton was being used perfectly.
Oh, we got to get a sip first. Let him get a sip. Let him get a sip. All right, here it comes.
There he is. Look how happy he is. Look how happy he is that Cam Newton is back.
Oh my God. Like what? I didn't even feel the same when Cam was not here. Like, God, like
there is a different pep in your step.
I'm telling you, man, like when I saw him come back, I was like, he's like a little brother to me. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a younger guy. I used to go back and watch him play at Auburn. I remember talking to Ron Rivera about him before they took him number 1 in Carolina.
So you got him drafted. That's what I heard. That's what I heard
too.
Hey, I had a conversation with Ron.
There you
Ron
go.
wanted to know, Ron was our defensive coordinator out here.
Yeah.
Got the job in Carolina. He asked me what I thought about Cam. And I told him, I was like, he's one of those like generational talents. He's one of those guys who's like is on the field, like it's nothing you could do about it. His presence on the field, the way he plays football, he's just a problem. They ended up taking him number 1 and it worked out for him. So to see him come back and be able to play, especially after all the times I've seen them like ride out quarterbacks out the league, you know what I'm saying? Especially black quarterbacks. Let's just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to see a quarterback that I knew had enough talent to where I know he's better than at least one of these other 32, or at least one of these other 64. At least one of these other 64.
If he's not good enough for a second string, he's definitely good enough for a third string.
Anytime that Nathan Peterman 5 interceptions in 1/2 is on a roster and Cam Newton is not.
No, Nathan Peterman got cut. He got cut.
About damn time.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Like, what's the kid? Like, what's his name? Sean White, the great white hope up there in
Mike White.
Oh, Mike White. Yeah, he does a lot of talking.
Saying? Like, come on now. Like, we got quarterbacks like that playing. I just know for a fact Cam's supposed to be playing.
Yeah.
I love this story. So, I mean, how great of a situation. So he didn't really have anywhere to go. He went to New England thinking he could prove himself, but that wasn't like the real Cam. We saw it like Cam, like toned down Cam. And then to go back to his original team that he took to the Super Bowl, that he won an MVP and scored 2 touchdowns on his first 2 plays and get to yank off his helmet and beat a Cam that we all once knew. That shit, right? You can't write scripts like that, man. That's just exciting.
Are you saying, and I'm not trying to be dramatic about this, but you're just saying basically Cam wasn't allowed to be himself because it was the Bill Belichick system.
100%.
So he can't play 100%. Well if you're not playing like yourself.
Oh,
there is no way anybody believe that Cam Newton and Bill Belichick was on the same page. I don't care how much praise Cam gave him, and I respect that. That's a business, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go in there and be a team player. So, Bill Belichick is a great coach at the same time too. So let's talk about him being a great coach. But as far as their personalities, polar opposites. Polar opposites.
Have you ever seen anyone in New England rip their helmet off and yell, "I'm back" like that? Like, is that ever?
No. And again, we're gonna get that in episode episode 42. The next episode we're going to go through. Actually, let's just tease it right here on the podcast. It's we're going to do a diva meter. Usually we've been ranking things, but I thought we'd take a break. And we're going to do a diva meter because there's a few diva moments, I think, and we're going to determine whether or not how diva-ish that moment was. But Cam Newton, I said he was also raising ticket prices. Well, ever since he signed with the team last week, pricing went from around $280 to an average of $403 for his first game back at Bank of America Stadium. And I believe they're going to be playing the football team, and Ron Rivera is coming back too. I don't know how this stuff lines up like that.
They lost Chase Young.
They did. Oh, but I don't know how this stuff they are playing in Carolina. I don't know how this stuff lines up. Like Cam's going to be a starter of the Panthers again, and Ron Rivera's coming in with a new team.
Raise the prices. All right. So tell me this: how much would you pay? Well, first of all, do you even know who the starting quarterback was this week?
PJ Walker.
Marcus, did you know the starting quarterback?
Hey, did you see my face? Thank you, Skraby. Like
he's an XFL superstar.
Exactly why we don't know.
He's not bad. I mean, I know Cam.
No, that's fine, but we don't know him. So would you pay $200 to go see a guy you don't know, or $300 to go see Cam? I'm paying the $300. I don't care what kind of performance he gives. I can talk about seeing Cam Newton. I can't talk about seeing PJ Walker.
You're right. It's not helping the Panthers. It's the resale market it's helping.
Hey,
that's a good point.
I love Cam Newton's energy right now. Like, I don't know if you guys got to see like his post-game press conference.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
But like he was just like all about energy. He's all about
he called himself Moses.
He did not call himself Moses.
Called himself Moses.
He referenced Moses. He said he was reading a devotional, right? And in the devotional,
wait, what?
You don't know this story.
He was reading a devotional and he was reading about Moses, right? Leading the people, the Israelites, you know what I'm saying, out of Egypt. Like
in
that's
the
what
desert.
he referenced in the desert. So
he was in Arizona.
He referenced them being in Arizona as the desert. So he just felt good about the entire situation. That's why he kept on bringing it back to his energy. He wasn't saying he was Moses.
He did.
Almost came with a staff on the show.
Big Mac's not going to like this right here. But Cam Newton as a starting quarterback next week is not going to work out that well.
What?
He's not going to know the plays very well because you can't learn a playbook that fast. You're not going to surprise anyone by putting him in. They were probably surprised by putting him in the goal line. Like, we don't know what he's doing. We haven't seen this. He's lucky Chase Young isn't there, but it's not going to be the same excitement that we got this week.
Did they switch up offensive coordinator since he left?
The whole team is new. The whole coaching staff.
But he's only been gone a year. They couldn't have like.
They got all new coaches. I'm saying, like we saw Cam play last year. That shit wasn't sexy.
It wasn't, but like that's a Bill Belichick system. Like it's a totally different system. You're talking about Cam Newton and Tom Brady and Mac Jones. Look at the quarterback rep 225 in that situation, and you can tell like what type of quarterback.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll come back. We'll come back next week and we'll reference this right here.
All right. Well, Cam Newton, like you said, he is going to be the starter for the Panthers. That's all we got in this episode. It was a fiery one. It was one where we talked about the 49ers winning over the Rams. Just wanted to remind everybody of that. That did happen in week 10 as well, 31-10. But in the next episode, you know what? I want to talk about this real quick.
Do it.
I want to talk about Marcus's terrible Falcons. That was a horrific performance.
Listen, don't
Cowboys 43-3. It was over in the first quarter.
Listen. Let's calm down. We're in a rebuilding phase.
What? You guys were just 4-4 last week.
They've been rebuilding since a certain something happened in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we've been rebuilding since it takes a lot. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot right now. We're riding on our baseball team and our college football right now. Okay.
All right.
In a year or two, we'll figure out what we do with Matt Ryan. You know what I'm saying? Calvin Ridley, and then we'll talk from there.
All right. God. Well, yeah, that was not good. That was not good. But hey, my team had a terrible performance against the Cardinals last week. So that is what the NFL is all about. Any given Sunday, it's a clicheest thing in the world, but it's the truest thing when you're talking about football. And so in the next episode, we're going to do the Diva Meter. We're going to talk about Cam Newton and what he had to say. Teddy Bridgewater found himself in some controversy.
Teddy.
I have the video for you guys to see, and I also have his comments today. And then we have another player in the NFL who does not understand the overtime rules, and we're going to tell you who it is in the next episode.
He's not the only one.
Yeah. What? Greg tweeted that earlier, and I cannot believe we're gonna have to figure that out in the next episode. So 2prosandAjoe.com for all of your podcasting needs. Apple Podcasts, remember, go rate and review. Please tell a friend about it. Greg Camarillo, 8 years in the NFL, one time did not round off a route good enough for Brett Favre. Marcus McNeil, he took a long time to get to the podcast, and we'll also reveal why in the next episode. And so that is another tease, and we'll start that next episode off with why Marcus McNeil is taking a long time to get to the podcast. All right, that's it, guys. Anything else?
We go.
All right, peace out.